There isn't anything I wouldn't do for you, except for one thing that you want me to. We went across the mighty Rio Grande and saw Disneyland and the sea, you and me. But there's one thing I never do, not even for you, not even for you, not even for you. I'm not going to Salt Lake City, I'm not going to Salt Lake City, I'm not going to Salt Lake City. There isn't anything I wouldn't do for you, except to walk among the Osmond crew. I know you're planning for a lap today, and you can't betray what you know in Provo. But there's one less town on the globe, and if you must go there, you're going alone. Not even for you, not even for you, not even for you. I'm not going to Salt Lake City, I'm not going to Salt Lake City, I'm not going to Salt Lake City. Even if they tell me I can stay, even if they resurrect my brain, I don't wanna go there, I don't wanna go insane. I'm not pure and I'm not pretty, and I'm not going to Salt Lake City. I'm not living in Hello Kitty, and I'm not going to Salt Lake City. I'm not, oh no, well I'm not. Yeah, yeah, well I'm not. Oh no, well I'm
Hello, fine folks. Tonight we're going to have a discussion about something that's very integral to the martial arts, and it's about finding the pure essence of the individual, almost like the anchor of oneself. And this in itself is one of the hugest magical secrets of all time. And we here at the Doktor Zeero Free Magic School and Free Magick Secrets Show like to lead the listener about 66.6% of the way towards the finale, and then let them figure out the rest. So this is going to be some intense skeleton keys that will unlock many things if you pay attention. So this is from a person who studied in martial arts, and I'm going to skip around what the guy said. But in the summer of 1967, I was enrolled as an exchange student from Dartmouth at the University of Leningrad, USSR. One evening at a talent show presented by the foreign students, I gave a karate demonstration to a large audience of Russian students, professors, and invited friends. I had been studying karate in the United States for several years and was fairly proficient at it, though some distance from the black belt level I was to attain 3 years later. After demonstrating the classic kata, or choreographed form, and delivering a brief dissertation on the art, the climax of my act was to break a brick with my bare hand, a skill I had acquired a year before and had repeated dozens of times. He speaks and speaks and speaks and speaks. I began studying the martial arts. He had, in fact, broken the brick with his hand, but the feeling was much more that it had parted in response to the completely new kind of action he had generated. In the architecture was a single-mindedness, a focusing of attention on austere negative beauty that moved me strangely like deja vu. There was a mystery there beyond the mere exoticisms of foreign cultures. After 2 decades, I can at least name the mystery. The martial arts have been, for me, a doorway into terrains of experience beyond the normal limits, into realms where the common assumptions about conflict and fear, effort and energy, and even the nature of physical reality may be overturned and completely reordered. He talks about studying Kodokan Judo for several years, karate and Tai Chi, and he goes on to talk about, for the most part, the external arts, such as Judo and karate, emphasize the acquisition of physical skills, speed, balance, accuracy, coordination, and power. They are, especially in the first few years of training, basically athletic disciplines that develop the student's facility in punching, kicking, blocking, throwing, grappling, and so forth. Unfortunately, most students never reach the higher levels of these arts, where physical technique assumes less importance than psychological transformation. Fewer than 1 out of every 100 students of the martial arts persist to the black belt level, which, it must be understood, confers not mastery, but only the beginning of serious study. The author goes on to talk about meeting an Aikido master, and he goes on what he saw the person do, and he says that it was something beyond applause and beyond skill. The Chinese called it wei wu wei, to do without doing, the condition of effortless accomplishment that comes from attunement with Tao, the greater order of nature. In the West, we might call it a state of grace. In 1975, I had the good fortune to just study directly with Koichi Tohei, the Grandmaster of Aikido and arguably the world's foremost living martial artist. At 60, Tohei moves with the power of an NFL lineman combined with the weightless grace of a ballet dancer. He is the embodiment of the most serious traditions of Oriental Budo, or martial ways, but is genuinely nonviolent, compassionate, earthy, and human. The majority of his teaching effort is concerned not with the formal art of Aikido, but with the system he has evolved for ki development, the cultivation of utilization of each person's own life force. Using the power of ki, Tohei performs astounding feats. At 5'3" and 150 pounds, he can make himself so heavy that 4 young men cannot lift him off the ground. He can resist 3 6-footers lined up to push him backward, using only the little finger on one hand to stop them. He can inhale and exhale loudly enough to be heard across an open gymnasium floor, yet make a single breath cycle last as long as 3 minutes. When he performs the characteristic whirling throws of traditional Aikido, there is no effort involved. His compact, soft-edged body in the black hakama skirts of the samurai spins, twirls, drops, rises like a tornado or a whirlpool, revolving and spiraling around a steady, calm center of power in the lower abdomen, which he calls Saika Iten, the 1 point. Now, the 1 point is extremely important in magic. It's sort of like the person's anchor to gravity, the very minute point. And we're going to talk more about this. He says about his art, I am the center of the universe, he declares, but the universe is infinite, so you can also be at the center of the universe. Anything I can do, everybody can do. Later, I will learn to perform some of the same tricks. Blah, blah, blah. There are manifestations of the greater power one has easily available when the body is relaxed. The attention is directed, and the emotions are confident and positive, the mind perfectly calm. This is the state of being centered, and it is the basis of Tohei's art and power. One of the most fascinating expressions of the qualities developed by Tohei's method is the Ki-ai. 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 Literally the spirit unifying shout. Unlike the primal grunts of weightlifters and the angry cries of karate practitioners, Tohei's ki is piercingly musical, with the potency of anger but devoid of negativity. It is unlike anything one has ever heard before, yet instantly comprehended, rising from a dark, low pitch to a loud, laser-sharp focus point, like a single lightning bolt of pure personal energy. Now, there are ways to make the magic work with some consistency. I have learned over the course of my 20 years odyssey through the martial arts that the capacity of the human mind to coordinate and focus physiological energy is infinitely greater than the standard assumptions of biology and physics would lead us to believe. I have become convinced that there is something, a spirit or vital force, which the Japanese call ki and the Chinese chi, which is universal in origin yet manifest uniquely in every living creature, which can be cultivated and increased through certain types of practice. And since the first night in Leningrad, once upon a time, I have acquired a reliable method for entering that particular state of effortless accomplishment. Thus, when I now approach a stack of 2 or 3 inch cinder blocks to attempt a breaking feat, I do not set myself to quote-unquote try hard or to summon up all my strength. Instead, I relax, sinking my awareness into my belly and legs, feeling my connection with the ground. I breathe deeply, mentally directing the breath through my torso, legs, and arms. I imagine a line of force coming up from the ground through my legs, down one arm, and out through an acupuncture point at the base of my palm, through the stone slabs and down again into the ground, penetrating to the center of the earth. I do not focus my attention on the objects to be broken. Although when I am lifting or holding them in a normal state of consciousness, the blocks seem tremendously dense, heavy, and hard. In the course of my 1 or 2 minute preparation, the reality seems to change, as indeed the reality of the whole situation changes. I am no longer a 32-year-old American writer in basketball sneakers doing strange breathing exercises in his suburban backyard in front of a pile of red patio bricks. I am a spiritual traveler making the necessary preparations for a journey to a different world. I know that I am in the other quote-unquote zone by certain signs. My breathing takes on a deep, raspy, unearthly tone. My vision changes such that tiny pebbles on the ground appear huge, like asteroids. My body feels denser, yet at the same time light and free of tension. I feel that what I am doing is extremely important, with that the attention of the entire universe is focused upon me. When I make my final approach to the bricks, if I regard them at all, they seem light, airy, friendly. They do not have the insistent inner drive in them that I do. I do not hit the bricks. I do not break them. Rather, I take a deep breath, hold it for half a second, then release, suddenly and smoothly, focusing on the energy line and allowing my arm to express it. My palm passes right through the place where the blocks were, but they have apparently parted just before I got there. And there is no sensation of impact, no shockwave, no pain. Whoever's watching usually applauds and congratulates me, but in the zone there is nothing to be congratulated for, and it seems silly. One is merely surprised to realize how easy such things are if one is in the correct body-mind state. Gradually, one comes out of it. One tries to explain, but the essence of it is beyond the reach of words. Hours later, what remains is not a sense of destructive power, but the feeling of attunement with the mysterious but very real power of life itself. Passing through the bricks is only a way of entering another realm. The real value of martial arts study, in other words, has nothing to do with the physical feats such as brick breaking. In fact, it is not even primarily concerned with fighting. In our modern technologized society, it would be easier to buy a gun or carry a can of mace. Their real value lies in what the martial arts tell us about ourselves, that we can be much more than we are now, that we have no need of fear, that our capacities for energy, awareness, courage, and compassion are far greater than we have been led to believe. They tell us that all our personal limits, and by extension our destructive social and historical patterns, can be transcended, beginning with the next breath, drawn deeply. So that is your lesson at the moment. Ponder upon that, and understand that the 1 point is right between your groin and your navel, right between your belly button and the top of your private area, right in the middle there somewhere. It's like as the Earth spins, we're each, as humans, our own morphogenic field, and our sense of gravity has hooked us to the Earth spinning. And basically, it's the microscopic speck that's a secret anchor of our whole being. If you can figure out where that is and harness that, you make that your center of gravity and how you base all your movements. It's really important. It's a fun one. All right, guys, that's it for the Doktor Zeero free Magick Secrets show. Please hit subscribe. Please tell people know when I exist and things and stuff. Post me on Facebook. Post me on YouTube. It's a secret show. I can't promote myself. That's the whole point of it. You guys got to promote me or nobody knows I exist. So, la-di-da-da-da. Have a fun evening, folks.
Zero anti-hero. Zero the anti-hero. Zero anti-hero. Ready or not,
Zero, the Alpha Omega, the man, hitting harder than any mere mortal Zip can. With his psychic Christ landed on acid they rain. You can call, but don't bother, he cannot be named.
Zero anti-hero. Zero anti-hero.
Zero, frenetic, eclectic, absurd. He's nowhere like nothing, now haven't you heard? Zero, no fear though, just blood, guts, and gash. Making history bold, making records for cash.
Zero anti-hero.